Just 1 second, just getting a slight glitch, remove that one there and bring it up on here. Perfect way to start the show. And with this, we are now live. So hello everyone and welcome to the Slam Jam Wrestling Show here on the Extreme Improv Xstreamed YouTube channel, as well as the Slam Jam Wrestling Show YouTube channel. Now, probably today we're going to be speaking a little bit about wrestling. I'm going to sneak it in there one way or another. But Cap, I know that you are particularly interested to talk about UFC and boxing. We're going to be discussing the most watched boxing fight of all time, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. And and then we'll get some reactions to this. But first, as always, as we have to do nowadays, here is the intro sequence.
Oh. Yeah. It's a Slam Jam show. Yes, a Slam Jam show. Oh yeah, yeah. It's a Slam Jam show. What you gonna do? You dig that? You're thinking of me. It's a Slam Jam show. Bang good neck, slam beat, and woo. Wanna rush? It's the Slam Jam show. Get caught the pain, the have a nice day. We're hitting the league, it's the Slam Jam show. With David Corey, David Gab, baby. DJ is set, cap, get the table. If you don't like it, we got 2 words for you. Shut down, Slam Jam. Feel the power, feel the roar. Slam Jam, it's the smackdown you've been waiting for. You can't see if Chico, you'll be serving hot down the Slam Jam. And that's the bottom line. And call it the Slam Jam Wrestling Show. We're live, well, it's the big show. You got no chance. We're in gorilla booking. That's the is, that's the what if you spell what we're cooking. It's the Slam Jam Wrestling Show. The champion team. Step into the Slam Jam. The Slam Jam Show. Hey yo, it's true. It's the Slam Jam Show. We didn't know. It's the Slam Jam Show. Big glass woman ass the Slam Jam and show. Yeah.
Okay, Slam Jam is here. So I take it that's the first time you've seen that, Cap.
Yes, I feel like we kidnapped the guy who sang Brian Kendrick's song and we forced him to sing our intro.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, absolutely. Now, Cap, I'm
It's
afraid.
good, but I do feel like someone has him on a hostage situation. They sing this song and he's singing it.
Now, Cap, I am afraid I don't have a specific intro video for you yet on the Slam Jam. Slam Jam is going through its phase where, you're here today. We always seem to be able to get someone or someone else, but not everyone all at the same time. But people will get intro Titantrons and so much more going forward in the future. But yeah, let's talk about it. The most watched boxing fight of all time. Let's start with the most rigged boxing fight, perhaps, of all time. And we had Jake Paul against Mike Tyson. Did you see it live? Did you stay up to see it? Like, what time was it for you?
No, I was not gonna invest that much time on that one. I'm pretty sure, even other boxing matches, the last thing I actually did watch was the Usyk versus Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think boxing is dying, and that's why they're pulling off this stunt. And they're not gonna get pure boxing fans back into watching. But again, freak show fights, it did sell. But I don't think it was rigged. I think it had the rules and stuff. It's a freak show, so it's of course. But I don't think 60-year-old Mike Tyson can beat even the most bad boxer of all time, Jake Paul, but I don't think he could do it.
I think he could do it. Like, I'll see if I can bring up some stuff without like getting copyright issues and everything. But I've seen. Have you seen any of the conspiracy videos where it just shows how like Tyson could have won this any time?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
yeah, go on.
but I think Jake was going easy on him too.
Oh no, Jake afterwards. Look at this. Look, this is a great video. I hope this doesn't get a copyright strike. It's so small. I'm going to kind of risk it.
Bring up the geek shield.
Oh, I've got like we're going Roman Reigns style here. We actually have a proper shield. So let's get the Slam Jam force field. So Slam Jam. Oh my God, where is the Slam Jam overlay? Okay, so it's the Slam Jam one, but it shows that. So let's just quickly screen share. I should have got this bit ready. Okay, screen share this, and then window Tyson. There we go. So when we take a look at this here, this is a really shitty force field. I wish I'd got the other one. Oh, screw it. Look, I'm sure it'll be fine. Let's get rid of this damn force field. Okay, and if not, then so be it. Now, the arrows someone has added here on Twitter. So look at this. Look, what is this punch that Tyson doesn't go for?
It's like, oh no, I should have knocked him out.
It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, Cap.
It's like, it's like all the Mike Tyson instinct kicking in. Jaws wide open. Oh wait, I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's like, did you see any of Tyson's training videos?
I think his older ones, he looks pretty good, but in the newer ones, he's still gassed out.
Yeah. Well, maybe actually, because he had health problems over the summer, right?
He almost died.
What actually happened?
Died.
What happened?
I think extreme allergic reaction or something like that. I think that's what happened to him.
Okay, so take a look at this. This was the best punch that Tyson got in there, and boom, right?
Jake's like, stop hitting me for real!
Well, this is where the conspiracy theory continues, because I think it was just a few seconds after this, they then get onto the ropes, and people are saying, Jake is literally saying, lay off if you want to get paid, basically. So...
I think it was in their contract that both people could knock themselves out.
Yeah.
It was literally written in the contract that they can knock themselves out. Maybe it's because of that. That's why Mike Tyson's like, oh shit, he's going to go down. I shouldn't do that. Maybe it's that. But Jake, I would say he's not a great boxer. He's not anything of extraordinary of a boxer, but he is still very young.
Well, how old is he? He's 28. Like, he is young, but he's not that young. Like, Mike Tyson was killing people when he was about 20.
Again, any younger Mike Tyson, I would say, even the Mike Tyson who fought Jones Jr., the Hook, I think that Tyson would have, like, if it was a real fight, he would have been, whoop. I think Jake Paul would have been finished there.
Yeah.
But remember, Jake Paul also did this to Anderson Silva, and Anderson Silva is not that old. And that's where I went. But you know the weird thing, like Anderson Silva after the match, he said something. He came in and said something like, "I had a bad or something." He said like, "No, it's not a fake fight." But after the match was over, he kind of hinted that it was a fake fight. Who knows?
Yeah.
But if you see, I think Vitor Belfort also fought Evander Holyfield.
When?
But you can see
when.
It happened. Yeah, Vito fought Evander Holyfield. You can probably see that clip. And in that one, you can clearly see just Evander's like, he can't move. He can't move at all. And Vito Belfort is known for juicing, and they were fighting in a place where all sanctions are lifted. So he was juiced to the bones, and he was like, it was sad to see Evander Holyfield like that.
Yeah, okay. I'll see if I can find a clip of that whilst we're going for it. So...
Yeah.
And how do you spell Vitor? Right.
Vitor. He's the Phenom, David. You should be able to. You know, by the way, his nickname was the Phenom. He was the Undertaker of the UFC.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'll find it, but okay. So look, I do have some stuff here. This is definitely going to be a copyright strike episode. So what am I going to do?
See if you can find a short.
Well,
See if you can find a short.
I'll just bring it up small on the screen. It doesn't look like there's anything else dodgy going on Twitter at the moment.
Okay.
At the moment, right? And let's just make sure this is muted as well. So, okay, so Holyfield 58 at the time, not competitive. Wow, how about that?
He can't move.
Oh my god, that is Jesus. Yeah, I see exactly what you mean. Okay, coming back quickly.
I saw the same thing with Tyson. That's the thing. I know. I give prompts to you that he was pulling his punches, but look at Tyson's movement.
Okay, well let's just look at this here. So like Tyson is very slow getting in, but like he could have taken him there. There's so many times he could have taken him. Like Paul's look at Paul's hands. They're like look at his hands. They're down. Tyson could have got in there constantly.
If it was old Tyson, this would have been like he would have been on his face.
Yeah.
He would have been right there inside him, and he would be going bang, bang, bang. But look at him.
Yeah. So look at that. He's letting Paul get in there. No, honestly, this, it was, what, it was. Did you see the whole fight, or did you just see highlights?
No, I just saw. I'm not giving this much thought for this one.
Cap, we're doing a whole episode based on the fact that you wanted to discuss this fight, right? But okay, I watched the whole fight. After the first round,
all 30.
It was 8 rounds. 8 rounds.
Okay, 8 rounds.
8 2-minute rounds, and that was the other thing. It's like, so this was a professional fight where they contested 8 2-minute rounds, which is not standard. And, like, Tyson looked like he was dead on his feet after the first round, you know.
He's gassed out. He's completely. Like Tyson, you don't. Also, with Tyson, you never really see him like do the complete whole way. There was only in his later fights he started doing that. Usually, he's the guy who knocks out people like first or third round. It just this fight ends. Yeah. But younger Tyson can go. Older Tyson can. Even if you look at the fight that he fought Roy Jones, he was tired in that one, but he was still going. So, but that was like how many years ago that was when he fought Roy Jones?
I can't even remember. It's a while ago. But yeah, like, but the other thing was, like the whole card. Like, this is the thing. It's like when you go, you say about like boxing being dead. When you go to look it up, you also wanted to discuss like UFC, and so look, when I search UFC, it comes up. That's the company name. When you search Jake, the event is literally called Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. So it's MVP Productions, which is like the Paul brothers thing, but literally it is just their thing. So it's kind of rigged from the very beginning there, and where they had you go on. But did you see the women's match, Serrano and Taylor, where it was just?
I heard it was great.
Oh my god!
I heard it was.
Yeah, it was, but the thing was, there was so much headbutting involved, and they like literally in the ring, and I was like, you've got the biggest main event of all time coming up later this show, and you've got like the coaches saying the referee should be fired, what are the judges doing, and all this kind of stuff. It just brings the whole thing like into question. So.
The headbutting thing is a weird thing. Even when you remember, like Tyson fought Evander. Evander was like clearly headbutting Tyson, and that's why Tyson got so mad he bit his ear off. that was all Evander's trick, is that he won't let Tyson inside. Whenever Tyson comes inside, he doesn't clinch up. Evander just rubs him out of his forehead, and that's why Mike Tyson got angry. Boxing again, as its reputation has been going down as they went, even with the full Floyd thing, where he didn't fight Manny Pacquiao. And even that fight, people scored it for Manny Pacquiao, and for some reason, Floyd won. Boxing has those weird things, and it had the problem of being rigged fights. It always had that reputation. But the problem when boxing started to die, it started less being entertaining. We don't. Who's the next Tyson? I mean, there was like Tyson Fury. There's some big names, but I don't think we don't know much about boxing stars anymore.
Well, okay, so there's Tyson Fury. There's his younger brother Tommy Fury, he's got something coming up at the moment. I forget against who. But yeah,
I think he's gonna fight UFC guy Darren Till.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But
he's boxing a UFC guy called Darren Till.
Cap, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. UFC, boxing, they may as well become what professional wrestling is. They may as well just have the whole sports being rigged and fixed, and then just put in the drama. Because, like, we saw that with Tyson and Paul. If they literally started getting WWE mentality about it, and actually getting some of the WWE like wrestlers to tell them how to fix the fight, because it wasn't an entertaining fight. They were fixing it, and you could tell. They need to work out more how to fix it so that people can't tell. And I think, because look, people didn't, even though people knew, people didn't know that wrestling was fixed until the 90s. And that's crazy, because the sport had been around for 100 years. So what if, and look, you think of all of the people that who like were in their 40s and 50s, and they'd been watching it for 50 years, and suddenly they find out that wrestling was always fake. Cap, let me ask you, what is your reaction if tomorrow it gets reported that UFC was always rigged? What's your reaction?
In what way? Like in the same as wrestling way?
Same as wrestling.
It would be a hard, very hard pill to swallow, and the UFC fighters would become the greatest actors of all time.
Well, so here's my theory. With wrestling, people were always suspicious, because you could see that they stamped their foot. You could see this, you could see that. In UFC, you see injuries and stuff like this come up. What if, when you watch like Japanese wrestling, I'm wearing a New Japan baseball cap here. When you watch Japanese wrestling, they lay it in. They're snug. They lay it in tight. What if that's always been the UFC saying, look, if we want this sport to trick everyone, but still make it exciting? Because I didn't used to like UFC at all. When I first watched it in the mid to late 90s, I was just like, they end up just on the ground hugging. And then they're in a stalemate until the round ends. Yeah. So how do they make it exciting? Look, so speaking of like coming to John Jones, did you see how he won? He was like doing a Street Fighter kick, like a spinning, jumping kick. It's like, okay, so this is where. Go on.
I mean, David, like John Jones is again a freak of human nature who does these things. He's one of the most creative fighters you can think of. But what I'll say is about the UFC's, not technically UFC, like mixed martial arts in general, they were started to promote jiu-jitsu. It was the Gracie brothers who were trying to promote jiu-jitsu. And that's how the whole thing started. Like the early UFC was like different martial artists coming in. And then Gracie would come, I have the superior martial art, jiu-jitsu, I can put them to the ground and submit them. But then something else happened where they said, let's fight for real. The thing what you said about going to wrestling route, I think boxing should do that. I don't think UFC would do that because they're hot right now. They're doing so well. So they would be like,
Cap,
why do we need to go?
My theory, and I don't truly believe this, but my theory is if UFC ever turned out to be fake, it was always fake. And so they were going to say, because you think people would, like, wrestling used to get much bigger crowds than it used to get, much bigger ratings than what it currently gets. And when it was, and then like it really collapsed when it became cartoonish and stuff in the 80s and 90s. And they were like, well, what can we do?
Yeah, I thought the Attitude Era when the stuff were very successful compared to the other years when he had cable and internationally people started watching it.
Oh, no. So, okay, so here's the thing. Vince McMahon, like, destroyed all of the competition and had a monopoly. And in that sense, he was successful. WWE was successful. But it used to be that you'd get arenas all across the United States where they'd do 30,000, 40,000 people every month. And
that's the thing with the UFC. Like, they destroyed all the competitions. So, like, again, it's mixed martial art, but we don't say MMA. We say UFC because that's the monopoly.
Okay, so is like Pride is gone. Is there still Bellator?
There's one FC. I think there's still I think there's Bellator, but do need to check that out if they
Okay.
got absorbed by something else.
Bellator. Let's see. I think Bellator still exists. Bellator MMA, they still exist. Yeah. So founded in
Did they get bought?
2008. Wow.
Were they bought out by something?
Possibly. I think it's probably going to turn out they were bought out by UFC. Let's have a look. Owners. Blah blah blah. Paramount Global Professional Fighters League. So he's a mixed martial arts, founded Don Davis 2017. Yeah. But by the way, so yeah, there is a few companies, but yeah, nothing compares to UFC. UFC is what started it.
I think UFC also does this brilliantly. I think that's what boxing stopped doing. The UFC builds stars.
Yeah.
They look for stars. Like when Israel Adesanya joined the UFC, again, middleweight divisions kind of went dead. John Jones went away. Anderson Silva, those kind of guys retired, and even Chris Weidman, who I started watching, and they were all gone. And you were like, okay, there's no one big star anymore. But then Israel Adesanya came, who clearly had the charisma. Even though he was not that much of an entertaining fighter, I would say, like, compared to Anderson Silva, he kind of had a similar style, but Anderson Silva was, like, knocking people out, like, in 1 second. They build stars like that. They bring in people. The problem they have is because the weight cutting and also the real aspect of it, you might think this guy's going to go for the miles, and then the guy gets knocked out and career's ended.
Yeah.
This undefeatable guy gets knocked out with careers ended.
See,
we can't continue anymore.
What I can say is not like such the big UFC guy is over the years, like the ones who truly become like the breakout stars, like Conor McGregor at the time, Ronda Rousey, when Brock Lesnar was there, you know, Cormier, Jones, you know, there are names that Nate Diaz, people that stand out that like make it across into more mainstream and everything, and part of the reason for that, it's been acknowledged many times. Dana White looked at what WWE was doing and promoted mixed martial arts in the same way. There is no reason for this sport to be in a cage, none whatsoever. It doesn't need to be cage fighting. They don't use the cage. They could be in a boxing ring. They could be just in a circle like sumo. There is no purpose of it being in a cage. It just makes it feel like Fight Club.
No, the problem is, I think again the cage is more of a UFC thing. But the problem is right now it's so part of this identity, and a lot of people's fighting game plan now involves around the cage. So whenever it's like someone is trying to grapple with you, if they're going to score a takedown, you'd be best if you're near the fence because they can't ragdoll you. So you would use the fence.
True, but that'd be the same as, you know, it might be slightly different in that it's, you know, it's made of different material, but it'd be the same as like a boxer getting to the ropes. You know, it's just like,
so again, the identity kind of makes the fighting techniques kind of evolve around that place. And you need to know where you are inside the cage, and a lot of the game plan gets twisted. And if you suddenly put them in the ring, I think a lot of UFC fighters will be like, "Oh shit, what am I gonna do now?" Because like, think about Pride. Most of the things that they did, they would if they're fighting someone who can do wrestling, they would immediately go near the ropes, so they won't get them dragged. They can do the cheating techniques and stuff like that. But it's less easy to do with the ropes. But again, they would drag them to the middle of the ring. If you get a confident wrestling beats for some reason, so wrestling is the superior thing in the
okay. So like here's like the follow up question on that. Just because I said like, you know, there's no reason for it to be in a cage. That, you know, and you do make good points. There's no reason for it to be an octagon. They didn't want it to be a squared circle.
Yeah.
It's not a circle. It's not a square. They went for a shape. It's an 8-sided cage. It's like in TNA wrestling when they had a 6-sided ring. You can only bounce between 2 ropes at any one time. When you're in an octagon, it's not like, oh, if you're playing football or soccer, it's like, right, so we're going to get into the corner and we'll try to get a corner. It's like there's no difference for any place other than somewhere in the middle or somewhere near the perimeter, the cage or the ropes or whatever. But anyway,
I think that shape.
I
think if you change the shape, it won't affect the game plan so much. But I think the cage aspect still needs to happen because otherwise, wrestlers gonna have a field day with most strikers who don't know how to defend against takedown. But that's also the other thing with the UFC, David, is that we see more fighters like John Jones now, people who are good at everything, people who are very creative with their styles. And that's where I think UFC will start to get boring. The most technical of fighters will have a lot of hard time becoming the greatest of stars because they're not entertaining. Because the reason why most combat sports, technique has gone out the window. Some people say they watch for the techniques. I'm not one of those people. I watch for the fight. If it's an interesting fight, I'll watch it. My favorite fighter right now in UFC is Yuri Prohaska. And technique, out the window. He's the guy who's like, punch me, I'll come at you still. That type of guy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, you go on.
There's the thing with happened with point fighting karate is that they're so good that they can throw a kick or a punch now because they know it'll give an opening. So they waiting. The most of the fight is being waiting for the perfect opportunity, and it starts to get boring. And that's why Dana White doesn't prefer those fighters. He prefers those fighters who go balls to the walls.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so, look, this is going to bring me to a couple of things I want to bring up here. So, first of all, I will bring up the shield just because, even if it's a shitty shield. Let me just bring this one up. So, shitty shield. Let's bring this up. So, hopefully this can't get copyrighted. So, this is the conclusion. And it's just in what universe could, obviously you can spin kick and get someone, but it's pure showmanship. Pure show.
No, David, you got in the stomach. That hurts. That shit hurts.
Yeah, of course it hurts. But look. Right? His back, his head is wide open. What a finish! This is where my theory comes in. Boom, boom, and they call it any second now. There you go.
I mean, I think that's one of the reasons is because you always want the referee to stop the match because it's ended. The fighters know it's ended.
Shit. But look. He's literally doing the Trump dance as well.
Yeah, that's Jones. Jones has done that all the time.
Yeah, look. So this doesn't feel quite like UFC of this is just they're leaning more and more into the entertainment. This is what I'm saying.
But you know why, David? It's because he's fighting a guy who's old Tyson.
Yeah.
He's fighting.
How old is John Jones now?
John's 38 or something like that. He's hitting 40, but the people he beat, when he looked awesome, when he beat DC, when he beat all those fighters, they were almost pushing 40.
I know.
John Jones made a career out of beating old people, and he looked awesome. And right now, he's kind of getting in age, and he doesn't want to fight young people. Right now, his biggest challenge is Tom Aspinall, your UK champion.
Yeah, and he doesn't want that fight, does he?
He does not, because as he even said it himself, if he wants to do it, he will do it for a shitload of money, because he knows there's a very high chance he will lose if he fights Tom Aspinall. Think about when he lifted light heavyweight. The last fight that he had in light heavyweight was Dominic Reyes, and he almost lost. Most people think he did lose by points.
Yeah.
And you always see Jones, right? He never fights the tallest fighter. He kind of a little bit like Jake Paul, but John Jones is obviously a better fighter. But what I'm saying is he always has an advantage against fighters. The almost time that John Jones struggle are against Alexander Gustafsson, who's almost as tall as John Jones and had a good takedown defense.
Oh, hang on,
and
keep going. I've got something for you in a second.
And he almost beat John Jones, but in the second round, Jones wiped him out. And the other one was Dominic Reyes, who's, again, very tall as Jones. He cannot eye poke him. He cannot keep him at a distance. And the takedown defense is everything. But with Daniel Cormier, again, he's old when Jones fought him. But Daniel is very good, but still, he was old. And he picked him apart on the feet even before they got to the wrestling. But also, John Jones kind of went dominant on there and beat him on the wrestling, too. But I would say his real challenge is Tom Aspinall. But he left light heavyweight when he saw Yuri Prohaska, almost as tall as him. And he saw these fighters coming through. The big ones started before. When John Jones was running around, there weren't much taller light heavyweights. That kind of went away. And then they came back. It's like, I'm levying for like full heavyweight.
Yeah.
And Jones...
Oh
but
my
the thing
God,
is, like,
Tom
if Jones
Aspinall was
doesn't
born
find
in...
Tom...
Aspinall was born in 1993.
Yeah.
Wow. So that is
How
great,
old-
and he's
when
31.
Jones-
Jesus, I was thinking in my head. I was thinking, God, how young is this guy? 93. He's 31. So do you know what? Like that's not such a huge discrepancy. I think
No,
John Jones will do it. I
you
think
can see it in the speed.
they're
You can see it in
making
the
him.
speed tape.
He's playing hard to get here. They're gonna do it. They're getting everyone
That
talking about the facts that no, oh, you're scared. You don't want to do it. Fight me, old man. He's 30. Wait, he's 37. There is 6 years between these two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see, but you did see John. You do feel like John's a bit slow on heavyweight compared to Tom Aspinall. Like Tom Aspinall versus Sergey, that was like boom, boom, match done. Like Tom's that fast, and he's a big dude, but he's very fast.
What is the sell-by date on the career of a UFC fighter? Like Connor's finished.
Depends on the weight class. So usually as fighters get older, they would go up to above their weight because the weight cut becomes harder. The whole thing about the UFC's problem is the weight cut.
Yeah.
You're never fighting yourself on full potential. You have to drain yourself before the match, and then you saline yourself back up, and you're always never at your strongest.
So what is the solution to this? Do they just cut this, but then you're going to have people wildly abusing the weight limit?
There was people did suggest maybe hydration limit or something like that, or maybe height limit or something. But it's gonna be weight cut so far. I don't think we're not gonna get past the weight problem.
Yeah.
But the main issue is, David, is that like big fighters fight in lower weight classes. That's the problem because they want that advantage. If everyone fight at their own weight class, they would have a much healthier career. But the problem is they always want that advantage. So people who are in light heavyweights are technically welterweights who cut down to light heavyweights.
Yeah.
So the problem is that if they fight in their own natural weight, then they will have a longer career. But the problem is they don't. As they get older, they only go to... But like John is not a heavyweight, by the way, in any means. He fattened up for heavyweight. But the main of the reasons why he did that is because like light heavyweight was catching up.
Yeah, so it says here on his stats, light heavyweight 2008 to 2020, heavyweight 2023 to present. His current build weight is 238 pounds. So what is the limit for light heavyweight?
How much is that in kilos?
Oh shit, okay, let me see if I can find you. He's 108 kilograms.
I think it's like you can go about 150, I think.
Okay.
Now, I do need to do have to weight check that one. What is the limit on weight? I don't think light heavyweights in general really care about weight cuts, but they do have a limit. The super heavyweight is not in the UFC yet.
Yeah. Okay, so light heavyweight division.
Light heavyweight has a limit.
Yeah, so UFC's light heavyweight ranges from 186 to 205 to 205 pounds. So John Jones has put on like 33 pounds to be in the heavyweight division.
Yep.
Shit, that is so much. That is a heck of a stack on. But like,
That's why he doesn't look as much good as original heavyweights.
Yeah.
Like Tommy Aspinall, he looks okay, but John looks clearly with skinny ligaments with fat arms and stuff.
I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. What I want to see a return to. I don't really mean this, but I kind of do. I want to see a return to like UFC 1. I won a competition in the 90s, and I got a VHS videotape of UFC 1, like 1 and 2 together, or something like this. And like, so literally, you don't see this. I want to see super heavyweight stuff, right? I want to see this shit again. Like
sumo versus.
Yeah, I just want to see some great big burly son of a gun against some really like tall stretch of water, and they're just like, this is what this. Look, whoever decides that they need to come up with this as a sport again, this is gonna. I don't know how violent this is gonna get, right? But look at that, he's finished.
Yeah, but the ref's like, wait.
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to be able to show this. But yeah, so they need to get back to that.
You have that, right? You have that UFC 1 too, right? It's basically different martial arts coming in to see what is the best of all martial arts.
Yeah, and everyone's a hybrid now.
You had all the people who go back. Yeah, because that's the real thing. You can't only be good at one thing. You have to be good at multiple things. Otherwise, I mean, that's why John Jones became great. When other people were getting into the sport, he was already good at multiple things.
Yeah.
So he was able to, beat out wrestlers with strikes and strikers with wrestling.
Yeah.
But right now, everyone is good. But you know that he's pushing for the Alex Pereira fight because he knows that's going to be a lot of money payday.
Of course.
But the problem is, Alex Pereira is not the greatest of wrestlers. He will do what he did to Cyril Gahn, just, put him in a submission and he's done.
Yeah.
The only reason why Alex Pereira is currently champion, there are no good wrestlers in light heavyweight or in middleweight. If wrestlers got their hands on him, he'll be out.
And that's so crazy that there's not a greater pool. I mean, it's one of the things where, like, it's not like wrestling where they compete 200 days a year or something. So to be seen and to move up through the ranks and everything, it's a different process entirely.
And also, it will depend on how entertaining you are. If you're entertaining, they will push you so fast. Dana White, you will get Dana White privilege, as Tony Ferguson called it. You will be pushed down the ranks, and you will fight for the belt fast. And if you can get it, Dana will do his best to keep giving you the best fights.
Well, yeah, go on.
Eventually, you will get to a fighter who will knock you out, or wrestle you out.
Well, yeah, but like this is the thing. This is why Brock Lesnar lost his first UFC fight, and then got a world heavyweight title shot on the second or third one. This is why he had CM Punk crossover at all when he had no credentials in the sport. So
I mean, like for Brock, at least he wrestled in high school. He actually wrestled in high school.
Well, Brock proved it. Obviously I think he had diverticulitis or what have you, that cut his career short. But he went in there and he dominated.
At that time, everyone was actually thinking Brock was one of the greatest. But again, I would say the greatest. The problem is, like, he spent most of his years in different sport. But I think if Brock Lesnar was doing UFC since the beginning, I think he would be, like, fatal. He would be in that status as, like, the greatest of all time.
But Lesnar did, like, 5 or 6 fights or something. And it's like, I'm amazed with TKO that there hasn't been more crossover between WWE and UFC.
Bobby Lashley has done it.
Sorry?
Lashley has done it.
Well, Lashley's not in WWE anymore. Like, Lashley is now in AEW, right? So, literally, when UFC, when TKO was formed and they bought WWE, I forget who it was, but on, like, Monday Night Raw, there was one of the UFC guys in the audience, and he literally just said to them, "Hey, can I cut a promo?" And they let him do it, like, going into a commercial break sort of thing. And then, if I remember correct, Dana White might have been like, "I don't want people to suspect that UFC is bullshit." And so they've really kept things fairly separate. But I think at some point there needs to just be WWE wrestlers competing in UFC. Like when people are done in UFC. Like, Conor McGregor, is he, he's never coming back. He might, but realistically, if he comes back, he's going to have one fight. If he wins, he might have one more, but that's going to be it. He still has a whole career in WWE if he wants it.
That is one of the things I would be happy for fighters, because, like, most people are not going to retire like Conor McGregor with lots of money. A lot of fighters, go out, and if they have the acting ability, it would be great if they would join the WWE, But like even Gab talked about, he wants to see Nate Diaz in wrestling. I was like, Nate would start throwing for real. Nate would start.
See, this is like when you. There's been so little crossover from WWE to UFC. You have Lesnar, you have Punk. Lashley never was in UFC. Kurt Angle was going to. It never happened, which is a crying shame. The other way round. I'm thinking that Ronda Rousey is the only example I can think of. Shayna Baszler, you get 2 or 3 of the women, I guess. But then in the men's division, it's Tank Abbott and Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn, and that is literally going back to the 1990s. I can't think of another guy that has crossed over from UFC into WWE. Can you?
It'll be... I can't think of anyone, but again... I think Lashley also started off with the UFC, I think, before he...
No. Lashley didn't. Lashley's never been in UFC. No, he has.
He's not been in UFC, but he was an MMA fighter.
No, he wasn't.
He was a full... No, he was!
No, he wasn't.
He has 15 fights!
Yeah, but no, I promise you. So, like, I'm going to bring up Bobby Lashley here. Like, Cap, I grew up... This is my life. So when you can take the full lead on the UFC, my friend, with the WWE side of it. I promise you. Like he definitely will have done like he'd have been like an NCAA champion. Let's have a look here. Before he got into WWE, let's have a look here. The goal of qualifying for Team USA to wrestle at the 2004 Olympics. He witnessed a bank robbery and was forced to die for cover to avoid gunfire, and he got a knee injury that required surgery, ending his amateur career. Holy shit, what a backstory. So he would have been... Lashley would have dominated in the Olympics. That guy is still a monster, right? So, but anyway, let's bring it up here so we can go through it. So, so he was probably NCAA something or other, so blah, 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 blah. But he was super young when he was in WWE, 2005 to 2008. Like, did you remember, like, it was him representing Donald Trump against Vince McMahon and Umaga, right?
They shaved McMahon's head, right?
Yeah. So who was he married to? Like, or is he still married to? Like, wasn't it, like, Crystal Marshall or someone like this? Or maybe I'm remembering the wrong woman wrestler. Like, personal life...
Is this MMA careers on there?
Yeah, this will be on here. But like, so anyway, so he from early life he went straight into WWE 2005, and after he left it, he went to like Puerto Rico, Japan, Mexico. Then he went to TNA. But when he was in TNA, along the way he started having mixed martial arts fights, and eventually, about I guess 2018. He returned to WWE, so he had 10 years away from WWE. But
wait,
wait. Go on.
Wait, I thought he was like doing UFC like in the 90s.
What? No, like this guy is probably born in the 90s. Let's have a look. So, 1976, right? No, but he was super young. God, time is such a weird thing. He was super young when he debuted. So 76,
I think
86,
instead of
96,
Wikipedia
2006.
Day,
So he was 29, right?
Instead of Wikipedia Day, maybe we can put up the shield or like you watch it on your side.
Okay, so look,
video called,
mixed martial arts career. It started literally. He left WWE and went into mixed martial arts because he just followed the path of Brock Lesnar. He looked at what Lesnar was doing and he probably figured that I can do the same thing. But then they allowed... So he was in Strike Force. I forgot that one even existed.
Yeah.
Tyson Fighting Championship. Shark Fights. What is this shit? Why did Bellator... Yeah, 2014 to 2018. So it's probably that he went with Bellator and never ended up in UFC.
He didn't fight any like big names. That's one of the problems. But he dominated. The only fight that he lost is one when he had got mono. And he was somehow sanctioned to fight, and that's where he looked bad. But other than that, Lashley was like... Although I don't... The thing was, like, Lashley's big, but I don't think he's that big. At least he didn't look that much in the
You
UFC.
know, he's like deceptively small, which is a weird thing to say about a guy
Yeah.
that's, you know, he looks ginormous and he's got all of the power in the world. But like, if we stack him next to Brock Lesnar, he looked smaller.
He
So
looks small.
Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar. I'll show you because I'm sure because they had a ton of fights. That was a good feud. But let's see if we. Do you know what? Actually, when you see the fights, there is something about him that doesn't look as big. And like I'll show you it with this. So when you see them here, Lashley doesn't look as big a threat next to Lesnar. But look at it when you see Lashley like this. Lashley doesn't look like he's afraid of Lesnar.
Yeah, I mean, like he actually wanted to fight him in the UFC.
Yeah.
Lashley wanted to fight Brock in the UFC, but that couldn't happen. So he wanted that thing in WWE. I think it's the definitions, David. It's like because he's so cut, when he's shirtless, he looks like intimidating to Brock, as you might say.
Yeah.
But when he's put a shirt on, you don't see him as cut. You think like, yeah, he's not that big. Technically, size-wise, he isn't tall as Lesnar. But it's the cut, it's the definitions and stuff. That's what made the Lashley looks impressive. But like I think Mark Henry went to the Olympics, but he lost sadly.
Mark Henry, but he wasn't a wrestler.
No, I mean like he was the weightlifter.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So no, Mark Henry did. I think Chad Gable may have been a wrestler. He definitely was a wrestler. I don't know if he went to the Olympics. And then
also Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle, he I believe is the only Olympic gold medalist because who was that? Gable Steveson, who was the wrestler that they signed, and then they just got he couldn't do anything. Let's have a look. Gable Steveson. Okay, so let's bring up this guy. If you don't know who I mean, right? So I'll show you who this guy is. There's no photo. Let's go back one. So Gable Steveson. So he was. I think he had some allegations and stuff against him, but WWE signed him anyway. I might be wrong on that, so I retract it if that is an error. But so let's have a look here. We'll say if he was. Yeah, so he was a gold medalist, but whereas they'll say that Kurt Angle was the only Olympic gold medalist in WWE, I feel like they may as well still count that because this guy didn't make it out of NXT. So when you go into 2021. Professional wrestling career, his professional wrestling career is nothing. So he was cut.
You know that Kurt Angle actually did an actual fight in WWE where he brought up new rookies.
Yeah,
and he asked them to submit him, and one of the guys actually knows mixed martial arts, and he almost submitted Kurt Angle.
He did. Well, basically, he beat Kurt Angle. Jesus, what was that guy called? Kurt Angle. Versus Daniel Puder, right? That was Daniel Puder's one moment. Again, I'm going to bring this up. We can watch this, but I'm going to put the shield up. See how many copyright issues I get into with this. Right, oh, hang on, it's got a damn advert. So, but no, this was great when it happened. I was totally into Puder, but everyone in the wrestling was so angry at Daniel Puder for what he did. Because, Daniel Puder, Kurt Angle wrestled The Miz or something like this. The Miz was in this Tough Enough class. And Kurt Angle, Puder was me, I'll fight. And Angle didn't take him. Angle had got a really bad broken neck at the time. And so he didn't want to even be in this position to do it. And so, Puder is just no fear. No fear.
Yeah.
But this is great, but Puder is 20 years later, and Puder hasn't turned out to be in anyone, unfortunately. So he wasn't in anyone in UFC, he wasn't in anyone in wrestling. But just instantly, I think he gets him into a key lock. Oh shit, what's this freezing on me? Don't do that now, come on. Right, okay. So he gets him, he wrestles him down. Kurt Angle is instantly in real trouble here. And it's because his body was so broken.
Oh shit, what have I done?
Yeah. But look at this. This is crazy that they actually did this. Because it just risked exposing Angle so much. And I've heard interviews with referees where they say afterwards that they could see that Kurt was in trouble straight away. And so look, Angle's finished. He's in that armbar. And so look, his shoulder isn't down. 1, 2, 3. That referee took the initiative and saved Kurt Angle because they were meant to be not wrestling by professional wrestling rules. So there shouldn't have been a 3 count.
Kurt is not shaking his hand. Kurt is not shaking his hand.
Yeah.
He's actually pissed.
Look at that. That was one of these crazy, I can't believe it happened on WWE TV moments.
But isn't this whole thing was arranged by Kurt's improving? Isn't the whole thing came up because he did that?
I think Kurt was told to go out there and sort of show them, dominate them, but he was injured. And so when he did like the first one and he roughed them up straight away, he's like, who else? And then he took Pewter, he didn't even need to. Like the other thing about it that's crazy is Kurt had just been in like a grapple, even if it's like a no one with no skill. He'd been in a grapple for like a minute already. So why would you put yourself into a second one straight away?
And the guy was like, yes, I'm gonna be the first guy to beat Kurt Angle. This is my chance.
Do you know what happened to Pewter in his WWE career after that?
Did he get to the matches where he completely loses every time?
No, let's see if I can even bring this up to show you. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. So it's Daniel Pewter Royal Rumble. Basically, you didn't see him after Tough Enough concluded. You didn't see him again until the Royal Rumble. And I might have to bring this up as a short because it looks like it's on there as shorts. The highlights. And there's an element of this which is like, it's a bit of a shame. It's a bit sad in a sense. Let's see if I can bring up the short. So, hopefully I can pause it and then I'll show you. Basically, when it gets to the Royal Rumble, the following year, Daniel Pewter comes in at number 3 or 4. He's in the ring with Chris Benoit. Yes, that Chris Benoit. And I forget who else comes in. It might be like Bradshaw. It might be Eddie Guerrero. But 2 or 3 wrestlers come into the ring. And they beat the living... Hardcore Holly. They beat the living shit out of him. So look, Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit are just taking revenge for Kurt Angle on their behalf. They're chopping him to pieces. Pewter doesn't get a single move in. They just really start... that's all the clip shows. But hardcore... So Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit take turns chopping him. Then out comes Hardcore Holly, who had a reputation for being like a bit of a hard bastard. And they just pulverize him.
But like, is this thing like he shouldn't be able to hit them right back?
He can't. He knew that he was getting his, basically. For what happened before, this was a receipt. It was a long time coming, many months coming, but it was that they gave him a receipt, basically. Cap, there's something in the comments I wanted to give you. I don't know if you know this person. Someone called Sayer. Seyer. Do you know this person? Okay, so this will make it even more interesting. There's 2 comments. The first, this was a few minutes ago, I meant to say then. Capelfave, I want to challenge you in a WWE match on the trampoline. And then obviously we didn't answer.
I am on.
We didn't answer.
I am on.
Okay, then there was a second comment. Capelfave, I want to challenge you in a WWE match. Forget the trampoline there, Cap.
I want the trampoline because I've never been on a trampoline.
You've never been on a trampoline?
I've never been on one, so I want that one more than the WWE one.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
All the time.
That's crazy. Okay, so Cap, look, we'll begin to wrap things up shortly. I'm going to check to see if there's any breaking news or things, but like I said, I'm going to sneak in a few WWE related things. Just because
I thought we just talked about the WWE.
We're still on UFC. Right, it's just start watching wrestling again, Cap. This show would be a lot better. Right, now. But no, I like dipping into the UFC and boxing. It gets me into it more. But these are some headlines that I spotted that, you would still be able to input in. So, following the Mike Tyson fight, Bill Goldberg saw...
Wait.
Yeah.
What? Okay, have to ask you things. What's the name of the commenter again?
Seyer, Seyer.
Is it Sand?
No, I don't know what to tell you, but the spelling is Seyer.
Sayer.
Look, your name is on the screen. Maybe they do know you, or maybe they've just picked your name off the screen. But either way,
If I know you, sorry if I didn't recognize you. That's all I'm gonna say.
what I want to know is why they didn't challenge me. It's because they're too damn afraid, Sayer. That's all I can say. Man.
Yeah, you're 6'5", David.
I am 6'5". I'm like Bobby Lashley. I'm deceptively right. Okay, right. Okay. So anyway, so Bill Goldberg, they've announced that he is going to have his retirement match next year. Now, Goldberg is about 60, or no, he might be about 55, 56, something like this. And he watched the Tyson fight, and he says that makes him realize how much he's got to bring to have this one more match. Now, I don't know if you kept up with any of this at all. Do you know who I mean by Gunther or Volta?
Oh yeah, I know.
Right.
Like
So
the WWE Nazi.
Oh no! Don't say that. Right? No. But that's obviously what the gimmick, the authoritarian Germanic character was, originally meant to be. Yeah, he came out and he was in the ring with Bret Hart, and Bret Hart got retired by Bill Goldberg, and he was in the ring and he did this promo and he's like, so Bret, you were one of my favorites. You were my second favorite after my personal favorite, Bill Goldberg. And the whole audience boos, they get it. A month later, Gunther's in the ring, Goldberg's in the crowd, and then Gunther gets back on the mic, and he's like, hey, you're not really my favorite, Goldberg, but, sat there, and he sat there with his kid, and he says to Goldberg, he's like, I just hope you're a better father than you are a wrestler. And Goldberg gets in the ring, and they're going to be face to face. And so, if Goldberg's having one more match, clearly it's going to be a world title shot against Gunther if he's still the champion at the time.
Can he even lift Gunther? He couldn't even lift Brock.
Oh, no, yeah, but Gunther is small. Gunther, fortunately, has lost a ton of weight. So Gunther is slight compared to what he was. Let's have a look. WWE Gunther. WWE Gunther. But no, do you remember when Goldberg tried to jackhammer Bray Wyatt?
And he couldn't.
Bray Wyatt, he was deceptively large, though. He wasn't a skinny guy, R.I.P. So Gunther. So he's 250 pounds, it says here, if that's still accurate. Maybe he was more.
The last picture I think you guys showed who Gunther was, like, he was ginormous. And I'm like picturing how the heck is Goldberg gonna lift him.
Okay, let's see if we can bring up some of what Gunther is and was. So, look, this is what Gunther is. Okay, here. But this is a timeline of what Gunther was. That hair is just insane. But, he's lost tons of weight. He's just, transformed himself from, obviously, what we see here, to this. Which is just, a crazy transformation. So, it at least gives Goldberg a chance.
I still can't think Goldberg could jackhammer him. He maybe spear him, yes.
Yeah, he can spear him.
He's too tall. He can't even grab his waist.
He could do that. Goldberg's about the same height. So, Goldberg jackhammered the Big Show back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah, I admit. Goldberg's last match may have been against Roman Reigns, or if not, then he was feuding with Lashley. And Lashley brought the absolute best out of him. But Goldberg has said, so, he'd want to bring it all if he's doing it for the last time, because however long it takes to recover afterwards doesn't matter. So, that'll be interesting to see. But he is.
I love the fact that the Tyson fight was his big inspiration.
Well, do you know what? But I can imagine Goldberg watched that and was like, shit, Mike Tyson went out there one last time and he was shit. I've got to bring it all so that I don't end the legacy that way.
Like that.
You know what I mean? Right.
But even even when you said like they're crossing over stuff, right? Even with the Jake's fight, right? I think Jake also fought Nate Diaz.
Right.
You know what Nate Diaz did?
Tell me.
Clearly showed that he could kill Jake at any time. After before the bell rang, he grabbed him in a chokehold and said, "I can jujutsu this guy anytime I want."
I remember that. Yeah, exactly. One of these crazy things. So
I think that's the problem with even like the UFC. I don't know how Ronda even did it, but like the problem is they have this mindset. It's really hard. Like it's a real competitive mindset. I don't even know how Kurt Angle ended up doing it. Because again, he was an Olympian. It's really hard for competitive people to go, it's okay, you can, it's hard not to take it personal for them because, like, they live in the persona other than, like, getting out of the way.
The funny thing about Kurt
Angle...
But,
there are people like Randy Orton who will snap at you.
Yeah. The funny thing about Kurt Angle's career, when he first was out the Olympics and WWE were like, American hero, gold medalist, we want to sign this guy to be a professional wrestler. Kurt Angle knew nothing about professional wrestling. And when he first spoke with them on the phone, he was just like, yeah, this professional wrestling though. Oh, hang on, look, Saya, you're back. Saya. Hey brother Capelfave, I want to wrestle with you. Cap has already responded. Cap, what are you saying to Saya here?
I'm okay. I can bring the trampoline, you can do it. Just bring the trampoline. I want the trampoline.
Okay, and Anchor in the comments says, where's the other guy from? Who is the other guy? Is that me or is that Cap? Which one of us... all the comments are about Cap here. I feel a little left out. Am I just the other guy now? God damn.
Or David, they could be asking about Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah. Well, if you want to know where I'm from specifically, I am from parts unknown.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go. Now,
I was just about to put that dong music when you said that, but then you already had a whole thing set up.
Yeah. So parts unknown, we won't do it today, but that is the Slam Jam equivalent of the Phantom Zone. So,
can I nominate one?
Go on then.
You're all gonna hate me for this.
Don't do it.
Roman Reigns to the Phantom Zone.
I would have so agreed with you before the whole Bloodline storyline. Literally, you stopped following WWE, closely at least, when it started getting good. It's now it's so good now. Honestly.
But for me, my memory is that Roman is the most terrible thing that happened to the company. Take him away to the parts unknown.
Oh my god, Cap. Honestly, if you watch any wrestling ever again, you should watch a little bit of the build-up, or even just the packages. Watch this year's WrestleMania, so WrestleMania 40, where night one, it was Roman Reigns and The Rock versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, and then watch the intro package to that of how they explain how the story got there. And then watch night two, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. The last 5 minutes of that match is up there in my top 10 wrestling moments of all time.
Only the last 5 minutes?
No, the whole match is good. I'm going to give you the spoilers because I don't know if and when you'll see it, right? So the first night, the build up to it, when The Rock came back, they had Cody Rhodes had won the Royal Rumble, and then he stood in the ring and said, but I'm not going to fight you now, Roman. And there was no logic to it, because he obviously wanted to. And then The Rock came out, and The Rock and Roman stood there, and the crowd's going wild. But when Cody, shook hands with The Rock whispered in his ear, Cody looked like he was about to cry. And whether it was Cody's acting skills, or if it was just legitimate, they're bypassing me for WrestleMania for The Rock. Cody went off. They started booing the heck out of The Rock. They started chanting, "We want Cody." And there was all of the social media stuff saying it should be Cody versus Roman. So when it then came to the press conference for WrestleMania, The Rock came out, Roman came out. They were face to face. They did a weird Samoan pride handshake thing, and The Rock clearly was now turning heel. He said, listen, all the Cody crybabies out there, you want Cody, but The Rock's time is now, and stuff like this. And then Cody comes out and he says, like, this is bullshit. It's like, I won the Royal Rumble, I get to choose, right? They get into it a little bit more, and Cody ends up saying to Roman, you're just you're a disgrace on your family. The Rock stands forward and says, if you talk down about his family, you're talking down about my family. He slaps Cody across the face. Forget the slap from Mike Tyson to Jake Paul. This was the slap heard around the world. And so then Seth Rollins came out, and so suddenly it was like 2-on-2. In the back, The Rock and Roman, who are about to be announced as the main event, are now walking together. The weeks go on. The Rock comes out. He ends up beating up Cody in front of his own mother. And he does this great thing, which is a callback to Moana. He says, Mama Rhodes. He's like, Mama Rhodes, when I take off this weight belt and whip your boy within an inch of his life, I'm going to bring over the belt to you and hand it to you. And then I'll say, what can I say except you're welcome? It was great. He was full on heel using Moana dialogue, like lyrics. And so
you know what, David? Any wrestling that crosses over with Disney, I 100% approve.
Yeah, you got to like see this. And so I'm skipping through so much. It was the best storyline. It gets to WrestleMania. Rock and Roman come out, and they're against Seth Rollins, and they're against Cody Rhodes. They have this big match. The Rock pins, I think, Cody. I think he pinned Cody, but Rock and Roman won. Cody is sat there. It's like, shit, I'm in the main event tomorrow night, and I've just lost on night 1. It gets to night 2, and so Roman's got his whole bloodline. By this point, there was Jey Uso, there was Solo Sikoa, members of his family, and during the match, Jimmy Uso comes out and like interferes. Solo Sikoa comes out and interferes, but Solo Sikoa a few months earlier had wrestled and beaten a man who would now come out to save Cody, and it's John Cena, right? So John Cena comes out. He destroyed. I may have even skipped someone. So it might have been that Jimmy Uso came out, and then Jey Uso came out, then Solo came out, then John Cena came out, then Seth Rollins came out, and Roman destroyed him. But John Cena came out, and once he slammed down Solo, John Cena stood there, and suddenly The Rock's music hits, and John Cena turns around and has a flashback from 10 years earlier. John Cena and The Rock are now face to face in the ring. And John Cena's like, you can't see me. He goes to hit him, but Rock catches him in a rock bottom. And The Rock starts taking off his belt. And he's like, I'm going to deal with you. Seth Rollins does come out at this point. Roman punches Seth Rollins. And as Cody is on the ground, The Rock takes off his belt like this. And suddenly, dong! And The Undertaker appears. And The Undertaker stands there with The Rock. And The Rock's like this, and The Rock goes to hit him with his belt, and The Undertaker choke slams him. And then The Undertaker, dong, the lights go out again, and The Undertaker disappears. Rock rolls out of the ring. Roman gets up. He sees Seth Rollins on the ground. Roman's holding a chair, and this is all why it's such good storytelling. Roman, Seth, and Dean Ambrose were in the Shield, but Seth Rollins was the one that stabbed him in the back. And so as Cody is there, Roman has the chair, but he looks down, and you can see the flashback that he's now got the chance to hit Seth with the chair. Boom! He hits Seth with the chair. But he isn't prepared, because now Cody grabs him, hits his finisher. 1, 2, 3. Best storyline. And then, Cap, what they've done since is Roman disappeared. Paul Heyman was Roman's manager. He abandoned Brock Lesnar for Roman. After Roman went, the bloodline continued. There was Solo Sikoa, there was Jimmy Uso, and there was Paul Heyman. But suddenly Solo started saying he's the tribal chief, he's in charge. And for weeks you'd see Paul Heyman just looking like he was a prisoner. And he started saying that you've got to say I'm the tribal chief. They decided that Jimmy Uso was no good anymore, and they brought in like, if you remember who Haku is, they brought in his sons, Tongaloa and Tamatonga, and now they joined the bloodline, and they got rid of Jimmy Uso. And and then they brought in Jacob Fatu, who is like Roman's cousin or something. So there's a completely different bloodline. Paul Heyman's there, and Heyman says, "You are not my tribal chief," and then they obliterate Heyman. And so now,
toxic relationship.
exactly. So now the new bloodline are going to go after Cody. They want the world title and that. Eventually, Roman comes back, and Roman stands alone against 4 members of the new bloodline. But then Jimmy Uso comes back and helps him. Jimmy Uso convinces Jey Uso to come back and help him. Jey Uso convinces the honorary Uso, Sami Zayn, to come back, and now we're on the forefront. The forefront of Survivor Series. They're going to have War Games, and this is like a storyline that has run for about 3.5-4 years, and it's honestly awesome.
So, but again, there's the flaw coming back again, David. They made Roman face again, which will never work.
But do you know what? I do appreciate that, but he's a completely different character now. He isn't saying bullshit lines. He's being himself. Like, do you remember when Roman announced that he got leukemia?
Yeah.
They didn't script him, and what he said won everyone over. They don't script this guy anymore, and Roman is genuinely so good on the mic. Oh, and one of the best bits, Cap, I'll just tell you this, and then we'll have to begin to wrap it up. So The Rock and Roman is in the ring, but even though The Rock is there, Roman is the tribal chief. And Rock is saying all this shit on the microphone, and he's like, "And if you smell," and as he leans down like this, all Roman does is place a hand there. The whole place exploded. And The Rock stands up, they're face to face, and Roman says, like, "There is one thing I need from you. Acknowledge me." And now The Rock is like, "I'm going to have to be subservient to Roman." Honestly, Kat, I can't say enough about how good this story has been.
So, okay, my issues with Roman, right, why I wanted to banish him to the parts unknown, right? One, they made him a face, and I like this whole renewal storyline when you said, like, John Cena came out.
Oh, watch
like,
it.
all the
up.
stuff that Roman passed over when they pushed Roman to the brink where he was, like, beating John Cena, The Undertaker. It's like that revenge moment for that whole section. But one of the heel things that I imagined for Roman Reigns, that him becoming a Lobo-type character, which never.
Yeah. Okay,
like, that, I still want that. Someone has to be a Lobo in WWE.
Yeah, well, it's true. Okay, so Cap, I'm going to send this to you. I'll send it to you, like, as soon as we're done with the show. It's like an hour. Skip through any bits you want to, but see, like, the last 10 minutes, because, like, it might have 5 minutes of what happens after the match ends. But basically, watch, like, the last few minutes of this match. It's insane. It'll make you a wrestling fan all over again, I promise you. Because literally, WWE did their Avengers assembling moment. So, people have said so much that Roman had become Thanos. Literally, his entrance with the music and him just walking out, like, so slowly. It was like when Thanos can just slowly walk through that portal. And then literally, Cody was like Captain America with his stars and stripes. And suddenly, Iron Man turned up, and it was John Cena. And then, like...
Wait, John Cena's Iron Man? No,
you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
He's
like,
Superman.
Like, the Hulk turned up, and, and it's like, it was like all of the Avengers assembled to take down and destroy Roman once and for all. Anyway, Cap, look...
What is the...
Go on.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I was going to ask, like, is The Undertaker technically back, or is he, like, retired?
He's retired. Like, his last match was during, like, when we went to the pandemic. Undertaker was meant to be wrestling AJ Styles at WrestleMania, and then they did it as one of these cinematic matches. After that, Undertaker wasn't going to come and wrestle in front of no one. When it got to the Survivor Series, he was like, I can't do this anymore, and he called it a day.
I want an Undertaker replacement.
I don't know who you have as... Like, you should check out, like... Obviously, there was The Fiend and Bray Wyatt, who Undertaker was, said that thing.
No, I don't want a different character. No, I don't want a different character. I want Undertaker reincarnated.
This is the thing. Yeah, everyone gets old. You can't bring back Ken Shamrock. You can't bring back Mike Tyson. You can't bring back Conor McGregor.
Yeah, but
they all age out. They all age out.
But Undertaker, you can do it because he's a character.
Well, true. Right. Anyway, Cap, this has been awesome. So thank you very much today. I've really enjoyed it. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Sword Deeds, where I sing, I dance, I throw myself in the bucket, and I work with puppets. So check me out on Sword Deeds. And this Friday there will be Hindu guy reacting to Mythology God. So do check that episode out. And there's also Halloween stuff there and some Thanksgiving short. You can check that. My wrestling recommendation. Wow, I never see this. There's the one DVD that I never got to watch, but I always wanted to watch it. Is that the DVD that covered the Undertaker's career and also Sting's career? And that's where you had the iconic Sting with the baseball bat as the crow.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched it, but if you can watch it, go watch it.
Okay. Well, my name is David Pistansky. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Pistansky. For my wrestling recommendation, well, this weekend we have the AEW pay-per-view, and then the following weekend we have the Survivor Series. Thing I'm most excited about, didn't even get into it, won't touch on it really. But I'll just bring up the graphic here just to reference it. January 2025, all of WWE is going to be on Netflix. So just like the Tyson Paul fight, WWE is suddenly going to get an insane amount of viewers around the world. So,
but is the hour still? Is the problem with WWE is still they need to cut it to 2 hours or 1 hour at least?
I think they're making this stuff 3 hours. Like, it's insane. Like, they don't need to make it 3 hours, but I think...
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I stopped, David. It's too much time.
Do you know a good way to watch WWE now, though? Is to go onto their YouTube channel. And so...
And watch the highlights.
Well, yeah, it's just like you see what you need to see. So if I'll wrap up in 1 second, but I'll bring this up just to show you. Just because it's impossible to watch all the wrestling there is nowadays. This is loading so slow, I'm about to give up on it. Let's have a look here. So if I go on videos and bring it up, hopefully it won't stop playing anything. But you'll see here, you could just literally watch. So if you forget NXT, you could just scroll back to where Raw was, and they've got full Raw recap, and it's 8 minutes 32 seconds. And you could just watch that each week, and it would keep you in the loop of things.
You know what? Triple H is smart. Triple H is smart.
Yeah, there's that. And look, that is crazy. That is Bray Wyatt's brother. It just looks like Bray Wyatt.
Wait, he was already in WWE, right?
Yeah, but look at him. They literally did what they should have always done with him. Just have him emulate his brother. They could have been a tag team where they'd look like clones.
See, this is what I want with The Undertaker.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Well, he's got a brother. He's called Kane. But like, honestly, if you see any other stuff, the story is cooling off a little bit now. But Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan and the Dominic Mysterio storyline is just... WWE have had so many hot storylines over the last year. It's been insane. But anyway, so my recommendation is see the Survivor Series when it comes on. AEW, I'll try to do some reactions to that next week if there is a show. Hopefully there will be. I'm going to get some more. If you're watching this and you're a wrestling fan and you want to be on this show to challenge Capelthave to a trampoline match, you can do it. We need more people so this show keeps ticking along. Go on.
I would add on that one bit, since we also merged WWE with UFC and stuff. Check out a video by Keon Kimura, I think. It's like how good was Bobby Lashley in MMA. It covers all of his fights. Do check that out. The dude was good.
Yeah. All right. So with that, until next time, stay safe. Always stay extreme. Keep slamming and jamming, you